What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 64 of the Game Bolt Podcast, the official podcast of thegamebolt.com, which almost always posts to iTunes every Tuesday and YouTube every Wednesday. But today we are recording on a Tuesday instead because Grant couldn't make the show, and then Cody and I had to do some other things. So we're doing the podcast a little later, but hey, we're still here. And of course, this is on thegamebolt.com, and it's our official site. And joining me this week is none other than the wonderful Kyle.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm alright.
How you been lately?
Of course. A bit tired.
Of course. Yeah, I'm pretty tired myself, but hey, I can't complain. It's
just sitting here drinking water.
Hey, that's always a good thing to do. I'm a big fan of water.
Yep.
Also joining us is none other than the most mega of men ever, Cody.
Oh man, that's a big title to live up to. I don't know if I can.
Playing it off. That's no big deal.
So, you're reviewing Overwatch, right?
Yes.
Give me, Overwatch in one word right now.
Exceptional.
Perfect. Okay. Anyway.
Now, do you want to do that after,
Well, no, yeah, I didn't know how to...
Okay. Well, when we get... The whole part of what I'm playing and my biggest reason why I'm here is because of Overwatch. Jake says, love Overwatch in one word. I have to agree that I could say many words.
Perfect. That
would be just the best. But yeah, we're going to kind of do an impromptu, inspired by GameSpot's The Lobby, like an Ask the Reviewer section. It's kind of unofficial. I was run up by Grant. I think he'll be okay with it. It could essentially replace the mail call because we don't get many of those. Where, say a big game comes out like Uncharted 4, Overwatch, or, Final Fantasy 15 or something. We'll dedicate a portion of the show just getting the person who was reviewing the game, getting their thoughts on it, early impressions, whatever it may be, just to kind of get a feel for it. Maybe if you're interested in the game, maybe our thoughts will help you decide whether you want that game or not, whatever it may be. And this week is going to be Overwatch, which I'm reviewing, and again, it is fantastic. Jake says, but not really, it's I. Listen, we're going to agree to disagree there, friend. Anyways, as always, when we start off the show, we always begin with what we're playing. So, Kyle, what are you playing lately?
I've been mainly playing Valkyria Chronicles Remastered.
Nice!
Alright.
Oh god, we're only 3 minutes in, folks. It's gonna be a long one.
I'm trying to keep myself awake and energized in some way.
That's okay.
But how is it, Kyle?
I really like it. I like it better than Fire Emblem. I'll say that much.
Okay.
As far as a tactical RPG goes. But really, I like the whole entire concept of it. It's sort of like a fictional, more fantastical, based on World War II Europe.
Yeah, like a fictional, Europe and
what is that game you were streaming a while back, Kyle? It was a PS2 game that they put on PS4.
Oh, Arc the Lad?
It looks just like that in the gameplay.
Yeah, Arc the Lad is very in that style. It actually reminded me of Arc the Lad a bit when I first started playing it.
That's why I figured when you said you were going to start playing it, I figured he'll probably like it because it reminded me of that game quite a bit, gameplay wise. So.
Yeah. How far into it are you, Kyle?
I'm on the 11th chapter, and
Okay.
I've been doing every single optional thing there is to do.
Nice.
So, I guess pretty much more than halfway, because I think there's only 17 or 18 chapters, and then there's 7 optional chapters.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm on chapter... I'm not very far at all. I would say chapter 3 or 4. I've done a few battles. I was excited for it. I'm so happy it's on PS4, and I'm going to get around to playing it, but...
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun for a tactical RPG. It's very difficult, too.
Yeah, it's tough. For the first couple of battles, I found myself, I was like, oh Jesus, I'm only like the third
Yeah.
battle, and I've already put myself in a crappy position. Wonderful, you're gonna have a
Yeah,
great
it's
time.
something that you definitely have to get used to.
Yeah, definitely. But it's just really fun. I
Yeah.
forget when I get to a certain mission, I'll remember where I am because there was a mission that took me a little bit of time, but I wanted to just play it safe and go slowly.
Yeah.
I'm not one that really worries about getting. I assume the highest rank is S or at least A. I've gotten a couple B's.
I think it's A.
Okay, and I'm not terribly worried about getting an A rank. I just want to get it done with and keep my team
I've only
alive.
gotten one A rank, but
Okay.
they're like really even hard to get in like a skirmish.
Right.
So
Is that permadeath?
only not in the main characters, but the rest of your squad. If they die and you don't pick them up in 3 turns, they're gone for the rest of the game.
It's like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, just thinking about it, like going on how it's really difficult. There's a mission that I played that basically it's so kind of early in the game, and there's like this huge tank that you kind of have to like stop and destroy it. That's the objective of the mission. And that whole entire mission took me, I guess, about an hour and 15 minutes. Entire mission.
Wow. Was there any reason?
It was a very long, drawn out battle.
Okay.
Because you had to take out all the on the tank and 6. Then after that, you had to have a lancer hit a wall for it to fall down and stop the tank from progressing. And then the tank, when it gets to that wall, it'll shoot the wall, and then it'll radiators pop out, and you're supposed to shoot the radiators. And when you shoot the radiators, there's either 4, I think there's 4 of them. And once you shoot 2 down, a cutscene plays out, and then this girl comes in. She's very powerful, and she has a one-shot weapon, so you have to stay away from her. And you have to take you have to take care of the other 2 radiators, with her going around killing everybody. And by the end of it, I only had my tank and my 1 lancer. I only had 2 people left. Had 1 radiator left. And actually, no, because once you take all the radiators out, you have to kill the tank. And so, it was just my tank and my lancer. My lancer was almost dead, and my tank was almost dead. And I was like, oh my god, I think this tank is actually about to destroy me. And it's the last stretch of the match, and then I actually beat it. And then after the battle, I'm looking at my game time, and I found out the battle took over an hour. I couldn't imagine if I actually didn't beat that. I would have been so upset.
Yeah, that's such a demoralizing feeling, or a degrading feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... Cody, I don't know if you've played it.
I played,
I
have it on Steam. I got it when it was $2, and...
Yeah, it's been on Steam so much lately.
Yeah, and
discounted.
I played it for maybe 10 minutes, so...
Okay, so basically how the combat works is, it's you move your soldiers, and they all have a stamina bar, and as you're moving, and if you get in the line of sight or the range of an enemy, they can start shooting at you.
Yeah.
So you have to find cover, or you can go into target mode and start shooting them. And once you're in target mode, they stop shooting at you. And then you shoot, and hopefully you get the kill. Each enemy has weak points, whether it's the head or a different part of their body.
Accuracy is very frustrating.
Yeah, and they just fire back afterwards, and it's tough when you're just trying to find cover and you have 2 or 3 soldiers shooting at you, and you're taking a decent chunk of damage that you don't want to take. And at the same time, you'll end up fighting tanks. They're pretty much just going to destroy any ground units.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. They drive and then slowly turn their barrel towards you. And
it's so tension building.
It's oh god, please no. and it's like bam, and you're like, oh,
dead.
and your soldier loses like 3/4 of their health, and it's the worst.
Or they just get killed, snipers especially.
Oh god, yeah. But I haven't played much of it so far. I've playing some other stuff, but I'm gonna get back to it at some point.
Yeah, it's definitely you definitely have to play it safe. It's like one of these games, like even more so than Fire Emblem, even because Fire Emblem, you're pretty much for the most part always guaranteed a hit. Valkyria Chronicles. In Valkyria Chronicles, it's you majority of the time you always miss. So it's just like, oh man, it's like, am I actually going to be able to hit this target, or should I use a different character to hit this target that I think will actually hit this target and kill it? So it's just a very mind-racking experience the whole way through like battle, especially the longer ones.
Right. Anyways, what else have you been playing?
I'm still kind of playing Uncharted 4. I haven't played it since I started Valkyria Chronicles, but I do have a crushing playthrough going on.
Spoiler free, you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been I started a crushing playthrough. Like I said, I haven't played it since Valkyria Chronicles.
Okay.
But I do plan on finishing crushing. I'm not sure if I actually plan on trying to get the platinum or not, but I might try.
Oh no, yeah, you get some sweet stuff for it, I think.
Yeah.
Like a cool card or something.
Yeah, you get an email from Sony.
Okay, nice. Cody, what have you been playing?
So, yesterday, I finished my Demon Souls playthrough that I was doing.
How was that final boss fight?
It was something.
Oh my god, I was watching and I was like, are you stinking kidding me?
I mean, I said it like 5 or 6 times last night. I can understand why they did it that way in a story sense.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's so anticlimactic.
It is, like, just watching you, Alan is his name? The guy who steals your levels?
Yeah, I don't remember, honestly. I was more worried about him than I was about his name.
Yeah, that seems like such a really tense fight, and then you go right to that, and it's like,
well, see, the thing is, you can do those in any order, as far as I know. So, like, there's another fight in, 5-3? Where you literally just fight like an NPC, and he's pretty like basic. Like it's not like he's not that hard, and that's it. It's like it's just like another kind of like it's really easy because it's story related kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So but had I done 5-3 and then done the final boss, I think I would have been pretty upset. But I understand why they did it, but it's kind of a letdown. But like I said last night, it's probably my favorite PS3 game, honestly. Like
now that was a surprise.
Just oh man, I had there were so many times I wanted to play it off stream, and it was blind, so there was like so many times I wanted to just like.
Of course.
What'd you say?
Eyes closed, of course.
Yeah, yeah. But no, there were so many times I wanted to like look up what like items I was getting and like look up like kind of the backstory on areas and stuff, and I was like, oh, I won't because like I don't want to ruin it. And I'm so glad I didn't because there were so many boss fights that were so unique and just like really crazy and so many things that they don't do anymore with the Souls series, which kind of makes me sad. But there was a lot of like my main reason why I wanted to play it was so I could see, because Dark Souls 3 had a lot of references to Dark Souls 1 and 2, and I wanted to play Demon Souls to see if there were any references that I missed in Dark Souls 3 that were Demon Souls related, and there were quite a few, honestly. It was pretty crazy.
Okay.
You know Yorm, the giant.
Yeah.
Were you there for the fight that I did?
I don't believe so.
There's a massive manta ray boss fight. And,
no, I wasn't there.
And it's so crazy. You like come out to a little like islet on the coast, and it's nothing but like these giant monuments, and there's like hundreds of manta rays in the sky shooting at you, and there's one monument just sitting there, and there's a sword in it, and you pull it out, and it's a storm ruler, and it's just like the Yorn the Giant fight where you like slash with it, and it just like parts the air and shoots like a massive air slash. It was so crazy, like just to see that mechanic entirely, even the weapon carried over into Dark Souls 3 as like a kind of like a little homage to that fight.
Yeah,
so it was really interesting. But yeah, that was great. And then I've been playing Overwatch, which, you know, who hasn't, aside from Kyle, I guess, sorry, has.
I played the beta.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you played the beta,
Yeah.
so you know what it's like.
But no,
what are your thoughts on that so far?
I like it.
I
I
want
mean,
to finish your thoughts on Demon Souls first.
oh no, that was it. Demon Souls.
Okay.
10 out of 10. Perfect.
10 out of 10.
Not really. I would say it's like 8 out of 10, like just off the top of my head. If you want to check out the streams, go to youtube.com/thegamebolt channel, and Jason's uploading those parts from the stream anyway. Just a little shameless plug. But yeah, with Overwatch, I mean it's pretty much the beta with a few balancing things. Like I think a few maps are different. Like some, what is it? The Temple of Anubis map I think has a pathway now at the second checkpoint that wasn't even there in the beta. So I don't know if they like. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's how it was. So I don't know if they took beta data and like, you know, kind of tweaked things. But I feel like there's some balancing things that happened. But overall, I mean, it's, you know, it was Overwatch, and I definitely I waited so long.
Very similar to what the beta was like.
Yeah, I waited so long after the beta just to play it again. You know, I'm pretty happy. So.
Yeah, I'm definitely digging it so far. I think Bastion is still really strong. A little too strong in my opinion, but I'm not. I played with him for a match today, and there's, you know, I sat in a tower and just as the machine gun and just lit up anything that came by, and like just kept firing because, you know, you have 200 bullets and just unlimited ammo, so why not? You know, you'll get a hit here or there, and you'll get some kills. Like I didn't like playing that way. But oh well. I mean,
I think
he's not my character.
I think the way Torbjorn plays is probably the best way. Yeah, I think it's the best kind of defensive character. I understand why people want to do, like, they just want to sit down and do crazy damage. But I think Torbjorn is definitely the best of both worlds, because you can either set at your turret and just like sit there and heal it up and defend it, or you can just sit your turret at a spot and then go off and fight at the front line while the turret.
Yeah, that's what I like to do. And then you get your ult and he goes to level 3, and then not only is Torbjorn stronger, but his turret is a lot stronger too. For,
he's
like 12 seconds.
He's definitely I don't want to bring TF2 into this, but he's definitely like what people want the engineer to be in TF2, because a lot of people complain about the engineer being kind of like you either turtle at your turret or you don't, and you kind of have a hard time doing so. And I feel like Torbjorn's like the perfect like you can go out if you want to, or you can sit at it and defend it, and you know you're good either way. So
yeah, definitely. Who's your favorite hero so far?
Oh God. So the way
I think I have my like top 5, but like 3 through 5 could probably be interchanged with among those 3.
The way I play Overwatch is I play what's needed. So I don't I don't stick to a character and then, you know, just like play matches that way.
I try and play based on the team comp, but when you're playing with strangers, like it's just like, and they're not like, they're just kind of going by themselves, which you can't really do in Overwatch. I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna go play, you know, McCree or Hanzo.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess if there was a character I had to stick with and pick, I mean, it'd probably be Mercy for me, because I'm that kind of person. Yeah. So, But you can definitely do like I was playing with my friend yesterday, and the what we would do is I'd have him play Roadhog and I would play Mercy, and I would just kind of like walk behind him, and he would just take all the damage and I would heal him, and then I would kind of like be on the side of him, and when I'd see him throw his hook, I'd instantly switch to the damage buff because once he got the pull.
It's such a strong combo too.
Yeah, it would
that
kill
with Mercy's damage boost. Oh my god, it's
yeah,
probably
it
one
would
to kill.
kill like 200 damage every time. You know, it would deal 200. So, and then I'd instantly just swap back to healing. I just quick switch to offense.
Right,
it was
right.
really fun. I'm the kind of person that, you know, if you know me, I like to play support. So
yeah.
So yeah, Mercy's probably my favorite because you're really involved. Lucio not so much.
It's such a good feeling.
Yeah, Symmetra not so much, and
you say Lucio not so much?
Yeah, Lucio's not as involved in healing as he is like.
I like him, but I just like
there.
the direct healing.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, and then Zenyatta's not so involved. He's more of like a damage kind of like.
Is he like the levitating guy?
Yeah, he's the monk.
Yeah. I've only played Mercy and Lucio so far.
Yeah.
Support.
But I like being really involved and just being like straight up healing and not kind of having to worry about fighting at all, and just kind of like giving the damage buff to the person who wants to fight. So, yeah, I'd have to say Mercy. I think, and that's really long-winded, but yeah.
Yeah, I was playing a match today in the Hollywood map.
Yep.
And we had to escort the car, and for so long I had Bastion on top, and I was Mercy, and I was doing the damage buff.
Yeah.
So he was just doing ridiculous damage. I was getting a good number of kill assists, and then for whatever reason he gets off the car. We're like, not even 6 feet, 6 feet from a winning spot. And he runs off and is just kind of doing his own thing. I was like, dude, that strategy's working. Why did you run away? And
I think the biggest thing I noticed in the beta, and the biggest thing I've noticed, in the past day, is no one wants to play objective. I mean, not no one. That's pretty blanket, but like the vast majority of people don't want to play objective. They want to get kills and stuff.
I can't fault them. You want to kill things, and you want to just get the most kills, but like. I still want to complete those objectives. I want to see like victory and get more points.
I think that's the thing is I think people are in the mindset right now where it's a first-person shooter. It's like if I get kills, it's going to help our team in some way. Yeah, it's more. I think you need to worry more about staying on point and like, especially end game. If the game's like in 5 seconds left, rush the point, and if you don't. If you just kind of stand there and just watch as the 5 seconds tick down, like just stand in the point so you at least get overtime. It changes games.
Yeah, I've seen like 2 or 3 people like right outside that like barrier.
Yeah.
It's like just take a step in. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
and
even if you die, So, but I don't know. I think it'll change.
I think it'll improve.
And
we'll adjust more. I'm sure there's new players too.
Yeah, at 25 there's ranked, so
at least that's what I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I think that'll change with the ranked gameplay.
Nice. And to wrap up what I've been playing, dabbling a bit, not playing it as much, but Persona 3 just kind of slowly going along. I'm doing more grinding and story stuff, but I think I'm to the point where I can survive, a boss fight and be okay. I did a lot of grinding early on, so we'll be good to go.
Have you gotten the dog yet?
I just did the cutscene where they talk about how his owner died.
Oh, man.
The priest, and how just...
I never got there, but I always wanted to play far enough in to get him. But
I haven't got him yet, but I'm excited to see what he's like. And then I've been having trouble sticking with Final Fantasy XIV, and I have a good friend on Twitter who is really into it. He's always playing it. I just asked him, like, how do you stay interested in, and not get bored? And the thing, what I was doing was I was doing the same thing every week. I was doing, Duty Roulette, the Alexander Raid, and that was it. Like those two things, and occasionally leveling up, my blacksmith or my my armor or something, and that was it. And he says, you just got to do things to diversify your palette. Do tribe quests one day, do dungeons another day, do leveling up other classes just to keep it fresh. Because I was getting to the point where I was like, I don't want to do this, this Duty Roulette for this currency, but I have to, and it just got really boring, so I found it tough to get back into it. But I feel more fresh, re-energized to play it again. I'm just kind of I'm not doing the same thing over and over again, and it's definitely helped a lot. It's extending its legs for me. As I'm patch 3.3, Revenge of the Horde is going to hit June 7th, and should end kind of the Heavensward epilogue. Just that storyline, so I'm really excited to see how that story ends. I'm back into that. I'll talk about more Overwatch towards the end, so I'll save that for later. But anyways, we're going to move on to the news storm. Ba-boom!
I don't know if we do it anymore, so I didn't bother.
It's kind of like either like someone shouts it or someone just whispers it. Like,
yeah.
You get it. No big deal. Jason says, ahoy! Thank you for stopping by, Jason.
Oh.
Chips ahoy.
How are you, sir?
I want some cookies.
Actually, sounds good right now. So our first story, unsurprisingly, Uncharted 4 has surpassed 2.7 million sales in its first week.
Absolutely lovely.
Yeah, this is from GameSpot. The story reads, in its first week on sale, Uncharted 4: A Thief's End have surpassed sales have surpassed 2.7 million units according to Sony. The figure represents copies of the game sold to customers as opposed to ships to retailers. Excuse me, I can't stop hiccuping. It includes both physical and digital sales as of May 16th. The figure was revealed on the PlayStation blog, where Sony Computer and Entertainment America marketing manager Asad Kuzibash said the game is the fastest-selling PS4 first-party title to date in North America. So, yeah, it's unsurprising.
It's pretty great for an exclusive.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think
it deserves it. Like, it really deserves all of the sales it gets because it's one of the greatest games I've ever personally played.
Nice, that's awesome.
And I'm sure a lot of people who have played it say the same exact thing. Really.
Yeah, they're definitely. I'm sure they're satisfied with what they played. Yeah, and it's a first party exclusive. And it's already sold 2.7 million in its first week. That's awesome. I don't know the numbers offhand, but I believe The Last of Us was above 7 million as of, I guess, today would be. And then I'm sure Uncharted, the series, excluding 4, is probably above 7 million as well. So, there's a strong attach rate to it.
I wouldn't be surprised if Uncharted 4 hit 10 million within a couple of next months.
We'll see. You can definitely see, 5 million for sure. People want to support Naughty Dog, and they want to see that the conclusion to Nathan Drake and company. But again, that's awesome. 2.7 million, and it's the fastest selling PS4 first party game in North America. Like, it's good for Naughty Dog. They deserve it. It's, they put a lot of work into Uncharted 4, and it's a lot of people, especially people with the Game Boy, they love it. So
I do.
Them. Yeah, you, Jason, I think Ryan played it. Yeah,
the last episode was completely dedicated to Uncharted 4. So.
There you go. Grant too, yeah. That's awesome. And the next story on the list, this is Destiny 2 is being rebooted, according to a report. And the story, the upcoming Destiny sequel has been, quote, rebooted, according to a report from Kotaku. Additionally, the site claims there was a staff reorganization, and the Taken King director, Luke Smith, is now leading the development on Destiny 2. This information was mentioned In a new report about Destiny's rumored Rise of Iron expansion, a poster for this expansion recently popped up on Reddit and was verified by 2 sources at Kotaku. The add-on will reportedly be announced at E3 and released in September. That's how Taken King was. It seems to be that next big expansion that'll keep players coming back. And this is a quote from Kotaku. From what we hear, Destiny 2 was recently rebooted, with Taken King director Luke Smith taking the reins of that project in the wake of a Bungie staff reorganization, said Kotaku.
That kind of scares me.
Oh, what's that?
That kind of scares me that it's quote-unquote being rebooted, because that's one of the main reasons why Destiny turned out to be kind of average.
Right,
because they had issues with their staff and everything about a year before it came out. This kind of concerns me.
They had a lot more of a story focus before, and then they kind of shifted ideas and went with new things, and the story, the lore suffered.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's worth noting that Destiny 2 was officially announced in February as part of the Activision Blizzard earnings report, and there's basically nothing to go on yet. But it's a full game sequel that's due out in 2017. Cody, do you have any thoughts on Destiny 2, or just kind of whatever?
I have no decent thoughts on it. I don't know.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna hold my tongue, I think.
Yeah. You have your feelings. It's again, I'm done with Destiny.
I think a lot of people at this point are.
Yeah, I mean, it's still doing well. I know my brother and my friend are still playing it. It's just that model of, DLC, expansion, next full game. And again, the Taken King was fantastic. It really got me back into it. I loved what I played, but there wasn't enough for me to keep me back. I think I last played in October. At the end of October, and I have no intentions of coming back.
I mean, isn't Activision just a lovely company?
I mean, they're about money, and I have no problem with that.
That's
want to make
turn
money
a profit, but
yeah, it's
morals, really.
It's their business model, and I have no problem with that. I don't.
I mean, I like Bungie, and I've always liked Bungie games. I like Destiny as a game.
I love Blizzard, so I mean.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. But they're fine for me, at least in my eyes.
I guess we'll just have to see how it turns out.
Yeah, definitely. If Luke Smith, who I think Taken King was a step in the right direction in terms of storytelling, in terms of straightforward storytelling instead of via an app and these Grimoire cards.
Yeah.
I think Destiny 2's story has a foundation to build upon, and hopefully, with Luke Smith at the helm, it'll be more well constructed and more thought out and more invested. But we'll see. We'll see next year.
Of course, I'm more excited for Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are very excited for that game. We'll get that eventually.
That's supposed to be coming out next year.
Yeah, that game's been in development for a while. So
yeah, it has.
I'm looking forward to that one. Anyways, the next story is EA explains why Star Wars Battlefront didn't have single player and teases that the sequel might. So this is the GameSpot story reads, speaking today during EA's Investor Day event, and this was on May 18th. This was almost a week ago. EA Studios boss Patrick Soderlund talked about how Star Wars Battlefront, while generally well received, was criticized for its lack of a single-player campaign. He also teased that a future installment might introduce a campaign, something that even Star Wars actor John Boyega, who plays Finn, has called for. He started off explaining it was a purposeful decision to leave out a campaign for Battlefront, in part so that the team at DICE would get it out in time for the release of Star Wars The Force Awakens, and the game is based on the original Star Wars trilogy. but it did have content based on Jakku, a setting from The Force Awakens. Additionally, it makes sense that EA, would want to get the game out in time for the film, as it turned out to be a box office smash that brought more attention to the Star Wars brand overall.
So I have just a kind of a quick question that I don't want to linger on for too long, because I think this could go on for a while. Why do you think Battlefront not having single player and having kind of like a horde mode-y kind of like defend thing and the multiplayer that it had, why do you think that wasn't as well received as something like Overwatch that doesn't have a single player but has multiplayer, but everyone seems to kind of love it? I mean, in my opinion, I think... See...
It's not fair, is that what you're thinking?
Well, no, I don't think it's not fair. I'm just wondering why... why people want single player so bad, when I think if... Like... I'm trying to think of how I want to word this.
If you like the original 2 Battlefront games, then of course you're gonna want Conquest and the story mode attached to that and everything. So I think when they announced Battlefront, people were really expecting Conquest and these like really large space battles again, with a more modern like gameplay to it.
Well, the way I see it is, like I said, I'm kind of comparing it to Overwatch in a way. Why did Overwatch do so well as a multiplayer game without single player? And
because there's a pretty big stigma against EA. There has been for quite a while now. I think part of that.
Well, let's just think of it as a game and not as the whole package.
Yeah. I think Battlefront lacked content.
That's what I was gonna say.
Content compared to Overwatch, both
I think had the multiplayer not been so thin in Battlefront, I actually don't think people would have been so quick to want.
Didn't have the
longevity. Player. Yeah, I think had there been more meat on the bone, like not so much as like more content, more costumes, more whatever they had. I think had it had more like depth, you know what I mean, instead of just kind of like the equip weapon loadout kind of like back and forth shooter kind of multiplayer. I think had it had more of a meatier multiplayer, I don't think people would have been so quick to jump on why not have a single player, because I almost feel like in a way they wanted single player because they felt like there wasn't enough content there as is. You know what I mean? Like they wanted more, but they probably wanted it in single player, when in reality I feel like had the multiplayer been way more in-depth and just like meatier, I don't know if people would have wanted single player as bad as they did. You know what I mean? So
so my thoughts are, I think because we played Battlefront in the past, on the PS2 and Xbox. We knew what we were getting. Whereas with Overwatch, this is a brand new game, brand new idea, and there is no previous track record, no previous history with prior games that have had this, and it's not in this new game. I guess that's upsetting. I've said it before. I have no problem with Battlefront not having a single-player campaign, because in Battlefront 1 and 2, you were just playing through the movies, and I was like, I can just watch the movies and experience that. I won't be able to play as Darth Vader or someone, but that's not the end of the world. I would have loved to have seen a Galactic Conquest or real space battles. I love the air combat. I forget what it's called, but it's a fun mode. But space battles were so much fun. But again, it's also EA. People have a prior negative feelings towards EA, whereas Blizzard is one of the most respected companies in the industry, and they just came out and said this is a multiplayer shooter, and they didn't mention, and it came out with more content, a full-fledged game that has its longevity, and hopefully Battlefront 2 which is coming at some point. Hopefully we'll have more content or just stuff to keep people more occupied, because unfortunately that's how it is in regards to EA. It's, pay for something up front, and you'll get content that really should be there at launch, but it's not, and people are going to buy it anyway, so we're just going to keep doing that. It's unfortunate, it really is, but that's just how I feel.
Yeah, I agree with all of that.
We'll move on so we don't get too frustrated with EA or Battlefront. I mean, I can understand why people want single player stuff, but it's, I guess maybe people want stuff on the level of a Call of Duty or Battlefield in terms of content.
Really, I could really honestly care less about single player. I just want conquest and really good multiplayer.
Yeah, of course.
That's all I was really getting at.
Yeah, of course. You definitely want that for sure. We'll go to the Square Enix news because I don't really care for Unravel, to be honest. Sorry. It's getting a sequel. The game did well, looks cute, but
pretty soon it's already announced a sequel. Really.
Yeah, I mean, it's
especially for an indie company.
Yeah, it's good for them though. This story is Square Enix outlines their E3 2016 plans and teases exciting Tomb Raider news. On GameSpot, the story reads, with E3 2016 just around the corner, Square Enix today announced some of its plans for the show and teased some, like the headline says, some exciting Tomb Raider news. In a blog post, Square Enix listed off some of the games that will be playable in its booth on the show floor. This includes Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, the third episode of Hitman, Just Cause 3, this is the Land Mecha Assault DLC, Star Ocean 5, Integrity and Faithlessness, and I Am Setsuna. Also playable at Square Enix's E3 booth will be some of the crowd-funded games from the company's Square Enix Collective program, including the Turing Test and Black the Fall. Additionally, Square Enix will again host a Square Enix Presents a live show during which it will make announcements, while developers will also appear on the broadcast to talk about their games. And seeing if there's any more. No, it doesn't really. Just kind of going over what they're going to talk about at E3.
I hope they talk about Kingdom Hearts 3.
I don't think they will.
They'll talk about. They'll have another trailer. That's like
it may be another minute-long trailer, but I mean, maybe like one more thing for Final Fantasy 15, or maybe something like that, or something for Final Fantasy.
They have to be like progressing development pretty quickly, quote unquote. Now that Final Fantasy 15's pretty much done,
right?
They're probably all working on Kingdom Hearts 3 for most part, and hopefully we get eventually something that, like a release date. I'm kind of clinging to it coming out next year, but who really knows? Because it won't come out this year, of course.
I mean, if anything, I hope they talk about Final Fantasy 7 a little bit.
Yeah.
Because that kind of fell off.
I keep forgetting about that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, PSX last year was the last time we saw anything in regards to that.
We got a gameplay trailer, didn't we?
What's up, Cody?
Sure. Did they do a live letter for Final Fantasy 14 last year?
At the Square Enix
stuff? Yeah.
Not that I know of.
I'm trying to think when they announced Heaven's Ward, but it couldn't have been last year. That would have made
sense. I think it was.
Was it? You said 3.3 is the epilogue, right?
It's like it includes the Dragon Song War, which is essentially, I guess, maybe part 2 of Heaven's Ward.
You think maybe they'll talk about like extra content there? Or?
I don't know, because in regards to 3.3, they've announced some of the new dungeons and stuff that's coming. I believe each patch is 6 months for each new patch. I'll actually look it up when Heaven's Ward was announced. Because
Oh
it
yeah,
came out
World
in,
of Final Fantasy, says Jason. I forgot about that. That
Oh,
was
that's
something they
right.
kind of brought
It's
up
a chibi
last
game,
year, and
right?
then it kind of...
Well, that was at.
Is
Well,
that
it was
kind of a
announced
weak thing?
through. I'm not sure.
They showed
I'm
that...
kind of interested in it.
Yeah, that
At the
was...
Sony,
Yeah,
right?
that was a Sony conference. They showed it for maybe like a minute, and it was
Yeah,
just kind of like a whole bunch of stuff.
Okay, so here's a GameSpot story from 2014.
That was when
So
Heaven's Ward came out?
no, this is the
Oh.
announcement. So in 2014, they announced that Heaven's Ward would come out in spring of 2015. So I have to imagine.
Maybe they'll have an
they,
announcement for... They'll kind of like tease something for next year.
I hope so. But if it was announced in October, maybe we'll go down go the same path. I think is October Tokyo Game Show.
I have no idea, but that would make more sense.
I know
wouldn't it?
TGS is around that time, so I would say
Yeah.
that's more likely when it would get announced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know Yoshida Yoshi. He's like one of the main people in Final Fantasy 14. He's said, that they're going to be talking about a potential. Like he said, like in the next expansion, if there's one coming, it's just a matter of when it's announced. Anyways, is there anything in particular you guys are looking forward to for Square Enix at E3 and the stuff that's been announced?
Probably just
I
Final
am
Fantasy.
Setna. That's kind of interesting.
Was that Kyle?
I am Setna. That's kind of
I'm
interesting.
Satuna, yeah. We actually just got a trailer today with a
You did?
release date.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
A release date, yeah. Let me look that up. I believe it's in July. I'm Satsuna. It should
check
have
it
been
out, then.
today.
That looks really interesting because it's kind of like a Chrono Trigger swap Secret Mana. So
it's inspired by Chrono Trigger.
Can I skip ahead just for a second?
Yeah, of course.
Having not seen the article at all, something on our news storm says Rocket League update includes expanded dialogue. What does that mean?
like how you can during matches you can hit the D-pad.
Oh, okay.
Screw you!
I thought they were throwing in like story elements.
That's what I thought at first too.
Yeah.
Our Rocket League team versus yours.
Rocket League finally has a story.
Wow. Well, anyway.
Rocket League RPG. I called it.
On Kotaku, something about Access Student today. Anyways, it's coming out July 19th on PS4 and Steam. I believe it will be $40. Yeah, it's the RPG that's inspired by Chrono Trigger. It looks great. Check out the trailer if you haven't done so already, Kyle.
Is it getting a physical release?
I don't think so. I think it's just digital.
I was just asking. I was wondering if it said anything like the article.
I think RPG site said that it's only digital. I'll have to double check that though. But anyways, is there anything you guys are? No, I already asked that. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to I Am Setsuna. Maybe we'll get another trailer or something, or maybe a combat demo. I'd love the dual and triple text in Chrono Trigger, so we'll see. But outside of that, there's nothing in particular that I'm looking forward to from Square Enix.
Yeah, I've heard pretty average things about Star Ocean 5, so my hype for that's kind of gone.
Yeah, I've heard mixed things, but I've never played Star Ocean before, and I'm interested in enough that I'd check it out.
Yeah, pretty much the same way.
Yeah. Anyways, so the Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City remasters, it's been teased for a while now. They are real. There's, a number of leaks. After a number of leaks, it'll be Batman Return to Arkham. It'll contain Arkham Asylum and City, of course, and it's coming to PS4 and Xbox One. The games arrive on July 26th, and they come through the Batman Return to Arkham bundle, and it will cost $50 to get it. There's a trailer for it.
Wait, you say that's just Arkham Asylum?
It's Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
not Origins or anything, sadly.
No, very much imagine it'll come with all the DLC too. I don't doubt it. There's a trailer just showing us like these critically acclaimed games, a remaster for PS4 and Xbox One. And, they look great. I've known just because I played Asylum City again last year in preparation for Night. So I don't need these, but I know there are a lot of Batman fans out there, and they're great games in my opinion.
I might get it. It just depends on if it's actually worth it. With the case with maybe remasters, really, if it's like worth getting.
Yeah,
again.
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like if you've played it recently, like it's one of the games I'll play. I played it just for Night, and I'm glad I played him again because I really liked him. But I'm not like, oh my gosh, I need to play these games again. Not like maybe like a Mass Effect or something. Jason says they are great games, but I don't feel the need to revisit any of them. I definitely agree with that.
I feel like the majority of people that really wanted to play them probably already played them, and so like went to a friend's house and played on their PS3 if they didn't have one or whatever.
That's really the case with almost every remastered game.
Yeah, but this was
for the most part anyway.
Not soon, but I mean, it was last gen, and
and
it's not exclusive. You know what I mean? It was
PC, they're much more accessible than say a Valkyrie or Chronos Remaster.
Yeah, and I guess you could probably say The Last of Us. Like not a lot of people had a PS3 compared to 360, so it makes sense that they ported that over to PS4. But I don't know about this. This just seems kind of weird. But I mean, all the more power to you if you want to play it. But
yeah, definitely. Anyways, let's move on to the Ask the Reviewer section. So once again, we're kind of taking this from GameSpot's The Lobby, who are a big gamer release, and they'll get the reviewer and or somebody who has played whatever the game may be. I'm sure you guys discussed Uncharted 4 last week, so maybe this week it'll be Overwatch. But say the next big game comes out, whatever it may be, we'll have that reviewer on to give their early impressions and just it'll get a feel for the game if maybe you're interested but you're not 100% sure yet. But yeah, this is kind of a preliminary thing. We're going to see how it goes. If either of you have any questions for me, I kind of figured, not really like an interview thing, but just give general questions about the game. If you're not sure or you just want to get a better understanding of said game, then this is your chance to ask, and I can kind of do my best as somebody who's played the beta, at least the open beta on consoles a lot, and I've played a decent chunk of it so far.
So,
at the
based on what you've played of the beta and the past day, you've played quite a bit, right? Probably 4 or 5 hours of what the real release has been.
Yeah, I haven't played as much as the beta, but I've played enough.
Where do you see this game in a year? You think it's gonna fall off, or do you think it's?
I don't think so. I think it'll be up there with, say StarCraft 2 or those kinds of games. I mean, I imagine Team Fortress 2 is still pretty popular.
Yeah.
I guess it really just depends on how much they update it.
Yeah, they say there's going to be free updates with characters and maps.
Yeah, that I'm definitely looking forward to. I just, I don't personally so far. I don't think we need to add any characters because there are 24. I have to double check that now.
There's definitely a lot more offensive characters than I think there are support, which there actually are. There's 6 offensive and 4 support. And
the thing is, you can play a defense character like a Hanzo or Bastion.
Yeah.
And they do plenty of damage themselves.
Yeah, that's the thing is you can play them offensively. And you don't always need offensive characters. You could have a full line of Bastions if you wanted to. I think that's the glory of it. It's sad to say, but it's actually true.
That'd be a really sad match if you're on the opponent's team.
Yeah,
I mean, we did a match, just all Reapers, and the other team was all Reapers. And it was just kind of a mess around thing. Like everybody was just messing around.
That sounds insane.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. But
Reaper's ult is just, oh man.
yeah, he has a good ult. I don't really think it needs any new heroes. I mean, I could see eventually the maps starting to get stale, because at least in the regular game mode, I can't remember if this was in the beta, but you have to play offense and defense before you go to the next map.
Yeah.
And, I could see someone getting tired of a certain map or two. The thing is, they're all just so diversified and creative.
Yeah, and what's nice about that is you can always back out and
of course,
rematch and get a different attack or defense. So in a year after, maybe let's say 7 or 8 content patches and balances and whatnot, you don't think this game will fall off at all?
I don't think so.
I think it will diminish, but there'll still be like a small player base.
I think it'll still be a big game.
I think that in terms of like console players, I think in maybe a year, maybe a year and a half, I think it'll.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be huge on PC for a while.
It'll drop by like 25% probably.
On
PC, I think it'll stay strong. I honestly think on PC, I think it'll get a competitive following, and I think it'll really help.
Yeah.
So.
I would love to see it in like esports or something.
Yeah, I think that'll happen, honestly.
I would, definitely think so.
Yeah.
Again, I don't think there's any need for more characters. The more they add, great. There could definitely be some balancing stuff, at least primarily with Bastion. Some of the ults, I think, in my opinion, last a little too long. To the point where, I guess the point of the ult is to get a kill, but it's frustrating when you're running for your life for 10 seconds and they're still going on. It's like, ugh. But outside of that, I think it's such a refined game. Every character is viable, and every character has a distinct play style, and you get to learn. Like today, I really learned how to use McCree's ults, high noon. Like, I used to use it right off the bat, and I wouldn't get any kills, and I was like, what the hell am I doing? And then I realized you have to give a second or two, and you finally lock onto a target, and then the skull will pop up, and that'll be the kill shot. And it's like, okay, well, you just got to practice it, and you learn the character. And I played him a decent amount in the beta, and I thought I knew more about him, but I've been playing him more in depth in the full game now, and I'm definitely a fan of that.
Probably my last question would be, in a year's time, again, do you see any characters being reworked at all? Like, completely different alts, completely different skills, completely different... Because it's not entirely unheard of, especially where it's a PC game. I don't know if they do it where it's a console game too, but do you see any characters that would be, like, overhauled or reworked at all?
I can't say for sure. If any, maybe, the depth or the effectiveness of, like, Tracer's reverse, or like the reverse time thing, or the her dash, because she can be really difficult to fight. If you don't see her, then you can be pretty much
What's so awesome about her, though?
yeah, for sure. She's really effective in that regard. But
Tracer is probably my favorite character in the beta.
Yeah, I can't at the moment think of anybody that really needs to be completely overhauled. Maybe you nerf the damage of an ult or something, or you reduce it by. Sorry, the dog. Oh my god.
He's not happy about that.
Stop barking, please. I knew this was gonna happen. At some point, I knew my dog was gonna start barking.
Yeah,
that's why I have a cat.
Yeah, you're inside. The dog's not gonna hurt you. You're fine. You're a 120-pound dog. You're fine. There we go. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna say something. She's gonna start barking again. I think it's too early for me to tell. At least, I'm not one that often looks into who gets debuffed and everything. I'm not good in that regard. But it's again, we'll see in a year's time. The game just came out, so I can't say for sure with the utmost confidence.
All right.
And to quickly finish off my thoughts, my favorite hero so far is definitely Hanzo. His arrow is ridiculously strong, and he can
That's
track.
just a bow and arrow in general.
Yeah. He can just track opponents, and then he can do like a scatter shot. And this is the dragon. He's so much fun.
I think if any character is to be reworked, I think it might be Widowmaker. And now I say that, and I'm not.
Yeah, I can see
I don't
that.
entirely.
Thing is, though,
So,
like you
but
don't
I,
almost never see a Widowmaker using her machine gun.
I really feel like Hanzo is the more superior sniper. Widowmaker has her perks, but
Yeah, I mean, the thing, Widowmaker has a better mobility, and I would say the range, because you can more easily stand up on a ledge. Like, you can grapple up to a ledge.
but Hanzo can climb up walls.
Yeah, he can climb a wall,
Yeah.
but he can't get to the height that Widowmaker can. I think she has the beat in terms of range.
I just think Hanzo has everything. Hanzo has, he can pick his positions on the fly. Like
Absolutely.
I said, he can climb up walls when Widowmaker could climb up the same wall, but at a 15-second cooldown.
Yeah.
I think Hanzo has a quicker charge time and doesn't have to stay in scoped and can still get like a one-shot, where Widowmaker has to stay scoped and
He's,
potentially...
at least, yeah, on the ground, he's more mobile.
Yeah,
That's how I think it's how he's supposed to be played.
and I mean, Hanzo's super, don't get me started, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
And
something
Widowmaker
else.
just gives everyone wall hack, basically, where they can see through walls. So I
yeah,
mean,
they all have their ups and downs.
yeah, but I definitely think Widowmaker is pretty underpowered compared to Hanzo. And I don't think Hanzo's overpowered. I think he's a little bit over where he should be, but not by much. So I bet Widowmaker, if anyone was to get a treatment, it'd be her. Jason says, watch Bastion get the Bandit
it's-
treatment. I really don't think so.
Yeah.
I think
We'll
Bastion's
see.
easy to deal with, but you can't beat him with all characters. He's someone you
I
definitely
kind
get a
of view him
character
in the
swap
same
for.
vein as Widowmaker, where like his stand up form is. I've only played one match with him, so I can't say for sure.
Yeah,
His stand up form is decent, but he's deadly and most effective as a turret.
yeah.
And Widowmaker
and
is
that's definitely what you
as
got
a
to take
sniper.
advantage of. Is
Absolutely, and
yeah,
I guess I suppose when I say he should maybe get a little bit of a damage reduction, like, well, there is that trade off. He's not really the best or most effective as a mobile robot, but he's very effective.
I think
in objective-based games and stuff.
the only thing
as a
that really confused me with Bastion was the fact that they gave him a heal. Like, he can heal
Yeah.
himself whenever he wants. And I mean, that definitely makes you a stationary turret with, you don't have to rely on anybody. You can just sit there
Right.
and get kills. But I would say the worst thing about Bastion isn't his damage. It's about how well the player uses him and puts him in certain locations, but it's the fact that he can heal himself, you know what I mean?
And he already has substantial defense as it is.
Yeah, so it's
Hell.
pretty strong. But I don't think he'll get hit with any nerfs or anything, honestly. I think it's all a matter of changing your tactics and changing your characters. So.
Yeah, definitely. Anyways, to wrap up my top five, number one is Hanzo, and number two is I'd probably give it to Torbjorn. I played him a lot today, and he's so much fun. I love his ult and everything. 3, 4, and 5 are kind of just a toss up. I'd probably go with 3 as Mercy. She's like the one support. I get kills with her too. Like, her pistol is pretty viable. You're not gonna win a one-on-one fight straight, like just standing there, but if you move around and you use it, you can do some decent damage. And of course, you can increase your allies' damage and heal them in the process and revive them. It's just really satisfying. 4, I would probably give to McCree. I played him first in the beta. I fell in love, and I'm not the best shot with him accuracy-wise, but he's just really fun. I love, flash banging enemy and then rolling up to him and just unloading my revolver all at once and getting a kill. And his ult is pretty fun too. And then to round it off, Roadhog, he's definitely my favorite tank because he can do some pretty good damage, and he can heal himself too. You know, he doesn't have the benefits of a D.Va or a Reinhardt, where he can block bullets.
He's a pretty self-reliant tank. He doesn't really rely on. He can have a Mercy with him, but he's pretty good on his own at damage and soaking.
If you poke somebody in and use your gun, you're very likely gonna get a kill unless it's a tank or something. Yeah. It's pretty good. But again, I think Overwatch so far is fantastic. I can't wait to play more of it. The beta alone is probably one of my favorite games of the year, and there's just more to it with the full game. And I'm looking forward to seeing how the game evolves over the next year plus. I hope it on consoles like PC, it wouldn't be as significant or be as long, I imagine, but I hope it is there. Anyways, that is going to wrap up episode 64 of the Game Bullet Podcasts, and of course, for all of our content, check out thegamebullet.com, and if you have any topics or questions, tweet them at us, and we will surely discuss them. And of course, this normally posted to iTunes every Tuesday and YouTube every Wednesday, but today it'll just be a day later because of some stuff that came up. And some of the recent stuff on our site includes Jason's wonderful Uncharted 4 review, which is accompanied by a video review, episode 2 of Games on Tap, the Renaissance of Retro Games. Dylan and myself, our podcast is there, and Kyle was a guest on it. John is, of course, John is all about Paragon. He's really into that game, so he put up an article, tips for playing with Paragon's newest hero, Grim.exe, 8 things we want in Pokemon Sun and Moon, our Doom review, and then our NX launch lineup predictions, why Toby has trouble getting into or just comprehending the grasp of Battlefield 1. It's an interesting article, and definitely recommend checking it out. And of course, you can follow our site at @the_gamebolt on Twitter, and you can also find all of us on Twitter. Cody, where can we find you?
You can find me at WhiteHawkVader. I don't know. I the whole time you were talking, I was trying to find some witty thing to say, and I don't know if that's just a joke. That's
I'm on Twitter, but I don't tweet.
Yeah, I don't tweet unless I tweet out my my finales, which for some reason I don't tweet out the entire stream that I do on Twitch, but I tweet out the finales. Yeah,
we're doing it.
We did it. Yeah. So I expect a lot of caps, basically. At WhiteHawkVader, YDOCVADER.
And Kyle, where can we find you?
You can find me at ClockdownR, a literal R.
Capital R.
Me.
And you can find me at Brett Woodmansee, WOODMANSEE. Thank you so much, guys. Until the next episode, take care.
Peace out.
See ya. Fago.
All right.